Bridge Toll, California customer service number.
Highway miles to the gallon, Ford Focus.
Thailand cave rescue operation.
What is Schema F?
Best wine bars in San Carlos, California.
Best Western hotels.
How old is Ronaldo?
What happened with Big Brother?
What's a good engagement?
How long before a wedding should I send out
How many
save
games
the dates?
are in the first series
Use
of the
IMAP
NBA
to check
playoffs?
Gmail on other email clients. Identify fonts from
Where to
an image.
find
We were
the
4
best
years
Brian
in
Stout.
college.
Habit burgers.
Welcome to the Voices of Search podcast. I'm your host, Benjamin Shapiro, and today we're going to talk about one of the 3 most reliable wins for SEOs. Joining us is Andy Crestodina, who is the co-founder and chief marketing officer at Orbit Media, which is an award-winning web design and development firm out of Chicago. Since 2001, Orbit Media has completed 1,000 web design projects that span across industries including e-commerce, lead generation, responsive web design, and integration projects. Andy is a notable SEO speaker, and we're excited to have him back as our guest today. And we're going to talk about his first of the most reliable SEO wins, branded key phrase SEO. This podcast is brought to you by Searchmetrics. You know, last year was rough in SEO and in life for a lot of people. And now that we're more than halfway through 2021, most of us are just starting to shake the rust off from 2020. So if you or your SEO performance need a boost, Searchmetrics has a new offer for you. If you sign up with Searchmetrics now, you can get 20% off, not just the Searchmetrics suite, but the whole range of Searchmetrics' supported services until you grow your performance by 21%. As an industry-leading SEO software and solutions partner, Searchmetrics is confident that their platform and expert support will help you reach your SEO targets before the end of 2021. Their performance-based offer will help you strengthen your site's visibility, outpace your competitors, and reach your optimal rank positions. So put their offer to the test and save 20% on Searchmetrics' software and services until your website has grown by 21% in 2021. To check out the details of this offer, go to searchmetrics.io/2021offer. And this podcast is also sponsored by Ahrefs. What if I told you that you could monitor your website's SEO health, backlinks, and organic rankings at no costs? Sounds too good to be true? Well, it's not, because my friends at Ahrefs just launched Ahrefs Webmaster Tools. Ahrefs' new Webmaster Tools product quickly helps you improve your site's visibility by pointing solutions to over 100 technical issues that might be holding your search performance down. Plus, AWT monitors for backlinks so you'll know the most linked to pages and how those links are affecting your rankings. And AWT shares what keywords your website ranks for and compares how you stack up against competitors for key metrics like search volume, keyword difficulty, and traffic value. Look, monitoring your website used to require multiple expensive tools. And now, thanks to Ahrefs, that's not the case anymore, because AWT will help you monitor your SEO health, backlinks, and keywords for free. And no, it's not one of those 14-day free trial offers. It's a powerful site audit tool that will keep working for you for free. So check out Ahrefs Webmaster Tools at ahrefs.com/AWT. That's AHREFS.com/AWT. All right, on with the show. Here's my conversation with Andy Crestodina, co-founder and CMO at Orbit Media. Andy, welcome back to the Voices of Search podcast.
Thank you for having me back. It's an honor and a pleasure, and I love this topic. This will be fun.
It's the honor and the privilege is all ours. I appreciate you coming back on the show and sharing a little bit more wisdom. We had you on the podcast, God, probably at the beginning of the year at this point. And we're returning this time to talk about what you are saying are the 3 most reliable SEO wins. Let's start off with the one that you said is, I think you said is the kind of the easiest, or at least the most assured success, branded key phrase SEO. Talk to me about what branded key phrase SEO is.
Sure. Well, generally they say the 3 types of search intent are to know, to do, or to go. In other words, they're informational queries, they're commercial intent queries, or they're just navigational queries. This person is trying to get to a brand's website. The person's searching for a company name or a person's name. So those are the branded queries. And a lot of people have defined over the years, you've heard it defined as SEO is about ranking high and attracting visitors for non-branded key phrases. Huge missed opportunity. So today I want to kind of highlight the idea that there are branded keywords that people are using to search for your company, try to find you. And if you know what they are and pay some attention to them, these are phrases you can rank for easily, because they are navigational queries. They're trying to get to your website. So what are those queries? And do you have content for each?
So I think of branded keyword queries in sort of two camps. One, you have an established brand that everybody's already looking for. You should probably optimize your page to make sure they're landing on the experience you want. I worked at eBay a long time ago, and thinking about branded keyword SEO was important because people weren't only just looking for eBay or eBay used stuff or eBay Marketplace, but they're looking for eBay iPhone, eBay product name, right? All sorts of different queries. So there's a lot of queries related to your brand. And then the second camp is, something that's a little newer, a little smaller. My other podcast, the MarTech podcast. People are looking for probably MarTech podcasts, and then they're discovering our brand. So we are more of a sort of, not necessarily a generic description, but we have a descriptive brand term. Talk to me about the optimization tactics for those two different camps. Let's start with the eBay camp, where you've got a brand where people are looking for lots of different queries, but associated with your keyword.
Yeah, that searcher is trying to find a page on your website. So if you know what those queries are, you can confirm that you have a page on each of those topics, and then control the visitor's experience from before they're even a visit, right? From the zero moment of truth when they first start to search and they see a search results page. So for example, we have a client, they're in the MarTech space. If you search for their name and type the letter D, Google recommends demo brand plus the word demo. But in 2 seconds, we found that they don't really have a page about demo. There's not a video with the demo. They called it something else. So just by looking up to see all the phrases that Google suggests when people start to search for your brand's name, in the case of eBay, those are all the product category names. And then just make sure that you have a page on each of those topics. The minute they publish a URL that has the word demo in the title tag, they will rank number one for the brand plus the word demo. And now they're going to make sure the visitor lands in the place they want them to land. They're going to make sure the visitor goes to the spot, has the experience. So I know tons of examples. Another quick one, Event Space. They're a venue. They're a museum, actually, but a very popular place to do events. They didn't rank for the event venue plus the word wedding. Instead, it was like some photographer's website. This was the Adler Planetarium. It's a famous little place in Chicago. Adler Planetarium wedding. People love to get married there. But a little photographer was outranking them because they didn't have a page about weddings. They had a general page about events and rentals. So all they need to do is to take the 15 minutes to make a page about weddings, Adler Planetarium weddings. They will rank for that phrase. They'll attract that visitor. They'll control that visitor's experience. They'll generate the lead instead of just sending people to some random photographer's website.
So you mentioned that, with your term, whatever Google's associations are based on the next letter is one way where you can find other keywords associated with your brand. MarTech Podcast space A led me to MarTech Podcast Apple. MarTech Podcast space B led me to Best MarTech Podcasts, et cetera, et cetera. And look, maybe that gives you 5 recommendations per letter, 26 letters. You're getting, a couple of recommendations. But when you're a brand like eBay and you've got thousands of potential keywords and variations, how do you figure out what some of the other associations are? What are the tools that you're using to sort of build your larger branded keyword phrase?
Yeah, even in the first example, it's pretty slow to type the next letter of the alphabet 26 times. And there are tools that will scrape out of Google Suggest in one fell swoop all the phrases that Google would have suggested had you typed the next letter of the alphabet 26 times. Keywordtool.io. I don't even know what to call that web. Maybe the site's just called Keyword Tool. There's a paid version. Don't even know what it does. But if you go to keywordtool.io and type in, for example, MarTech Podcast, it will show you every phrase that Google would have suggested as if you type the next letter of the alphabet 26 times. So this is the pro tip for one of the most reliable wins in SEO. Go to keywordtool.io and just put in your company's name, and you will see all the things Google would have suggested. Are people looking for X and Y and Z and careers and reviews and price? All those things that people want when they think of you are exposed instantly. If you're an eBay, now that's a mega brand. The enterprise will have other tools, paid tools that they can use. Probably, I assume SEMrush would be a good resource for this. Any of the keyword research tools from the pro SEO software providers will expose a lot more and give you more data along with it. For example, the search volume. But don't worry about the search difficulty because We're here to talk about the reliable win. You're going to rank anyway. Difficulty doesn't matter. You're very likely to rank for this, right?
So that brings me to my next question is, okay, we look through a keyword tool or SEMrush or whatever tool that you're using, and you come up with these list of keywords that you probably don't already have pages for. How do you figure out what content to create? How difficult is it to rank? Yes, related to your brand, there is probably some interest for these keywords, but you don't have content. How do you actually bridge the gap to make sure that you win these queries?
Yeah, it's now there comes the rub. The win is in exposing and discovering for the first time that people who think of you think of this, and finding out that is in fact an opportunity. How you address that opportunity will depend on what you see in Google search results. Now here it gets more interesting, more fun for the SEO. If you search for MarTech company plus demo, and the search results page just has a whole bunch of videos, you need to create video to address that, right? The videos that visitors seem to be wanting video. So what you put in the mix there will depend partly upon what you see in the search results page for that. A common one is just reviews. Oh, wow, someone's looking for this plus reviews, or they're looking for a brand plus Glassdoor. That's not a go create content for it. That's a go win the reputation management game for it. Now you've discovered that the world you're in is a world that requires you to go get positive star reviews from all these different sites, because that's what people are looking for. That's what people are thinking of when they think of you.
So not only understanding what the queries are that are related to your brand, but understanding what the type of content is, and you're breaking it down into, is it a reputation management game? Is it a navigational query? Sometimes it could be informational. Are there other formats of content that you're getting out of the query list?
There are. I mean, if you just, without typing the next letter of the alphabet, just go search for your brand, and you haven't done this lately. In other words, just go Google your brand. When you see the brand, your snippet, almost inevitably at the top of search results, you're going to see site links underneath it. There's usually 4 or 6 of them. Just take a second to look closely at each of those pages, because Google is sending people to those pages. So if nothing else, you're discovering all of the most popular entry points into your website. Those pages rank for your brand. So don't be surprised if when you look at analytics, you see those are some of the top landing pages on your site, because Google has built a highway to them. These are the off-ramps from search into your web property. So that is another kind of obvious takeaway that is often missed. People don't know what their site links are. People haven't Googled their brand, and people aren't paying very close attention to what those pages are, even though those are, in fact, the top entry points into their site, not just the homepage.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm quickly trying to do this for the MarTech podcast, looking at my other podcast's brand. And there's a couple of links in there, all the latest guests of the podcast. And so, I think that for different industries, you're going to have differing results when you're Googling yourself. For me, as a content creator, Google is showing who are the most relevant recent guests. If you're an e-commerce platform, obviously the links are going to be a little different. When you're thinking about branded keywords for media business as opposed to e-commerce, as opposed to SaaS, how does the strategy change?
Oh, it will change a lot. For like a B2B service provider, for example, you will see a lot of different things in the site links, sending people to like the About page, the Careers page, the Team page. If you have an active content program, it may be pushing people directly into your blog. If you're sort of a destination, you're likely to see the people also ask box. That's another win, right? That's another obvious win. Google is telling you what questions people have about your brand. If you haven't looked this up yet, you have an incredible opportunity to win almost immediately just by finding out from Google what people want to know about you. And Ben, this one's kind of fun. If you see a people also ask box when you search for your own brand, there's an opportunity to go ask and then answer those questions in your Google My Business section, right? You can put Q&A into Google My Business, and Google just told you that these are the questions that people are asking. It's showing those questions in the search results page. You can put those right into your GMB account, injecting data about your brand directly into Google's database. Those are some of the bigger examples. Just by searching for your brand, you're going to see, if you haven't checked lately, are competitors bidding on your name? Now you know where the battle's being fought for AdWords or for Google Ads. Maybe you should fight back, punch back. Let's go bid on their names. Reputation issues. What are the related searches at the bottom? It's a very special search results page. It is, in fact, it's like your homepage. what I'm sort of saying is one of the most reliable SEO wins is to do your best to control your actual homepage, which is the search results page for the branded query. And yet a lot of marketers sort of miss this super low-hanging fruit.
Yeah, at the end of the day, a lot of SEOs are sitting there saying, my brand is my brand. When people search for it, they're going to get a homepage link. And as it turns out, branded phase keywords are a much broader topic. Controlling how people search for, find, and navigate to your brand is something that requires a little bit more effort than you might think, but it is a very easy and reliable win. And that wraps up this episode of the Voices of Search podcast. Thanks for listening to my conversation with Andy Crestodina, co-founder and CMO of Orbit Media. In part 2 of this interview, which we'll publish tomorrow, Andy and I are going to talk about our next most reliable win for SEO, which is updating your content. If you can't wait until our next episode and you'd like to contact Andy, you could find a link to his LinkedIn profile in our show notes. You can contact him on Twitter, where his handle is Crestodina, Crestodina, or you could visit his company's website, which is Orbit Media, ORBITmedia.com. A special thanks to Searchmetrics for sponsoring this podcast. Don't forget about their new 2021 offer, where you can get 20% off of Searchmetrics suite and supported services until you grow your website by 21%. To check out the details of their 20% off offer, go to searchmetrics.io/2021 offer. And a special thanks to Ahrefs for sponsoring this podcast. Monitoring your website used to require multiple expensive tools, but that's not the case anymore thanks to Ahrefs, because they just launched their Ahrefs Webmaster Tools product, which monitors your SEO health, helps you keep track of your backlinks, and gives you the insight into what keywords are performing for free. So check out Ahrefs Webmaster Tools at ahrefs.com/AWT. That's Ahrefs, AHREFS.com/AWT. Just one more link in our show notes I'd like to tell you about. If you didn't have a chance to take notes while you were listening to this podcast, head over to voicesofsearch.com, where we have summaries of all of our episodes and contact information for our guests. You can also send us your topic suggestions or your SEO questions, and you can even apply to be a guest speaker on the Voices of Search podcast. Of course, you can always reach out on social media. Our handle is Voices of Search on Twitter, and my personal handle is Ben J. Shap, BenJShap. And if you haven't subscribed yet and you want a daily stream of SEO and content marketing insights in your podcast feed, we're going to publish an episode every day during the work week. So hit the subscribe button in your podcast app and we'll be back in your feed in the next business day. All right, that's it for today. But until next time, remember, the answers are always in the data.